So about 3 months ago, I uploaded a video titled Ranking Every Weapon in Chapter 5 of Fortnite, and if you check the comment sections of that video, I caught a lot of slack. And I think what some people forgot was that that video was uploaded about 2 or 3 days after the season launched. But what I figured we'd do with now the season being out for 3 months and ending in about 2 or 3 days, I figured let's revisit that video and let's re-rank every single weapon in Chapter 5 Season 1 of Fortnite as the meta has changed and as weapons have been buffed and nerfed. This will be the definitive correct tier list for every single weapon in Chapter 5 Season 1 of Fortnite. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Also, before anyone comments, yes, I do see that the grapple blade's not here. In my original video, I ranked it at A, and I would probably still keep it A. I think it's good mobility, but not the best we've ever seen. So anyways, carry on. So I think what we'll do here is I will show what I had ranked it originally, and then I will re-rank it into the spot that I believe it should be in now. Whether that's up, down, or the same, I will still put what the ranking was in my previous video. And again, if you haven't checked out that video, you might as well go do it. It's a pretty good video. So to start, we have the Striker AR, and in my previous video, I believe I gave this the equivalent of an A tier ranking, and I actually stand by that. I think I'm going to keep the Striker in A tier. I actually do think that the Striker is the better of the ARs we have. I guess you could make an argument for the Nemesis. I think in the right hands, it can be very good. I think the Enforcer is god-awful. Probably one of, if not the worst weapon I've ever used in Fortnite. We will get to that when we do. But I think the Striker is just a really solid AR. I think a lot of the times you'll see people run a Frenzy, a Striker, and then, you know, mobility, 2 heals, whatever. Because the fire rate is great, especially if you get a laser or, you know, whatever you want to put on that with a drum. You can do some serious work with this thing. The recoil, I know, is kind of out of control, but I think I'm going to hold firm here, and I think I'm going to keep the Striker at A tier. I think that's going to be fine. And this is the lock-on pistol, and actually the lock-on pistol was not in the game when I had originally made this video, so this will be a straight-up new ranking. The lock-on pistol, I think, is okay. I mean, I think it has its uses in the right scenarios, and I think it can be good in those specific scenarios, but other than those very specific scenarios, and again, I understand this is the only hit scan weapon this season, I believe. I may have to double check on that, but I believe this is the only hit scan weapon, which obviously gives it a little bit of an advantage. But other than those very niche situations, I don't think the lock-on pistol is anything really special. I think I'm going to put it probably B or C. I think I'd probably opt for C tier. And this is the Reaper Sniper Rifle. There should be no questions about this one. No surprises here. Reaper Sniper Rifle, S tier. I had it there in my original video, and there's no debating that. That is not going to change. This is the best sniper of all time. This is an S tier sniper. I don't even think I have to keep explaining. You guys know how OP it is. Everybody this season who played knows how OP it is. There's no question. S tier. This is the Anvil rocket launcher, I believe. And again, this was not in the original video because it was not in the season at the time recording that. But again, another very niche weapon. I don't think anyone was really asking for the Anvil rocket launcher to come back. Maybe if you see a whole team in a car, like maybe it's good. Obviously the only rocket launcher we have this season, but I'm really not impressed with it. Again, for me, this is bottom of the barrel, C or D tier. I think they're interchangeable, so I'm not going to stress where I put it too much, but honestly, I think it's probably D tier. There's a lot more better launchers that I'd rather have in the game. Okay, and this is where it gets pretty interesting because this is the Nemesis AR, and I had the Nemesis in the equivalent of D tier in my previous video, and that is way too low. After playing this season, the Nemesis is good with the right attachments in the right hands. I do think the Nemesis can compete with the Striker in some situations. The Nemesis is absolutely not a D tier assault rifle, and I would actually opt to put the Nemesis in B tier. I think it's very solid in the right scenarios, and it's good. It's a good all-around AR. I don't think it's better than the Striker, but I think it's a good solid AR, and I was way too harsh on it, definitely, in my past video, so it's a B tier AR. The Enforcer AR, another weapon that was not in the game when I made my previous video. The Enforcer AR needs to be taken out. It is, in my opinion, the worst weapon this season by far. Let's not mention that it looks identical to the Reaper. How many times have we picked up an Enforcer instead of a Reaper? I know we've all done it. Enforcer is awful. My bottom 5 worst weapons of all time. If you don't understand, go play it. And I understand there might be kind of a niche little group who enjoy using this weapon, and that's fine. If this is your favorite weapon, you know, go enjoy it. But yeah, for me, needs to be taken out. Really awful. All right, so it's going to continue to get interesting here because we have the hammer pump shotgun, and in my old video, I had the hammer pump ranked at B tier, and I am actually going to move it down to C tier. I think that was too generous, and I think at the time it was just kind of the consensus that the pump was going to be better than any other shotgun, right? Because that's how it had been for so many seasons. The pump was always better. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not the case this season. In my opinion, if you don't have a purple or above hammer, you're just not going to hit for much. I mean, I use a green or blue Frenzy Auto over any version of the hammer. Of course, not the Mythic, but that's, you know, that's very niche. So the hammer pump, in my opinion, is worse than the Frenzy Auto, and it's going to go into C tier for me. So by far my most argued upon take of my original video was the Frenzy Auto. In that video, I had the Frenzy in C tier, and I could not have been more wrong. I will accept that I was wrong. That was a terrible take. The Frenzy Auto is an S tier shotgun. Yeah, this thing is unbelievable. This is one of the best Fortnite weapons of all time, and definitely a top 3 shotgun of all time, I would say. I mean, genuinely, I would put this up here with the Havoc and the Spaz. This shotgun is unbelievable. I could not have been more wrong. And yeah, the Frenzy Auto is better than the pump. I don't think there's any question about it. I don't think there's going to be a ton of arguing in the comments about that. I definitely missed on this take. The Frenzy Auto is an S tier shotgun, definitely not a C tier shotgun. So why don't we just follow it up with another take that I missed miserably on? The Hyper SMG. This is a weapon that I had originally put in A tier, and it is not an A tier SMG. Again, this is kind of one of those cases where I had only played for just a couple of days, right? And so I think the consensus was just always that the fully auto SMGs were going to be better than the burst SMGs. We had burst SMGs in the past. They were not good. They were awful. So I think I kind of had gone into it, you know, really thinking that just, okay, the fully auto was just going to be better than the burst. Like, that's just how it was. And yeah, I was definitely wrong. This SMG is not great, in my opinion. I really don't think it's great. It gets outplayed by the Thunderburst. There's a reason why you see all the pros using the Thunderburst. I think it's okay. I think it can be serviceable, but there's no need to take this SMG, right? Like, you just run a Striker and run a Frenzy, or run a Sniper and run a Frenzy. You don't need an SMG, in my opinion. And so for that reason, I would bump this all the way down to C tier. I don't think this SMG is very good at all. And yeah, here we go. If you're watching this video and you watched the first one, you probably came for this take in particular. In that video, I had the Thunderburst put at D tier, and yeah, that's wrong. That is just an awful take. I don't even know what I was thinking. Again, I kind of explained it when I was explaining the last SMG. Like, I just thought that it was gonna be bad, and I had played with it, and it just was not good. But after more extensive play and fooling around with the attachments and kind of seeing what the pros were doing and whatever, yeah, this SMG is S tier. I would go as far as to say it's S tier. I think, you know, maybe that might be too much. Maybe put it in A tier. But yeah, no, this SMG is unbelievable. No bloom. This, the Reaper, and the Frenzy Auto are by far the best weapons this season. There won't be any question about that, I don't think. And so, yeah, crazy. I basically moved it up the entire tier list, but it deserves it, and I was absolutely wrong. And this is the pistol this season, and my thoughts really haven't changed too much about this pistol. Originally, I had it in around the BC area, and it would probably stay there. If I had an area between B and C, that is most likely where I would put it. But obviously I don't kind of have that middle area. So, but I actually would probably take the pistol this season over the SMG. And I know that might be kind of a hot take, but I would actually take the pistol over the Hyper SMG. I just do not like that SMG at all. And so for that reason, I think I would actually put the pistol in B tier. I think it's very good. I think it's a solid all-around pistol. Kind of goes underused, but once you kind of combine it with the riot shield, which I'll get into, you can really see the power of that pistol. And this is the riot shield, the final take of this video. And in my old video, I had this riot shield around B tier, and I think that was mainly because I was just looking at the build mode perspective, where the riot shield, right, there's no real reason to carry it, right? You could just build and cover yourself. But after taking no build into perspective and kind of seeing actual gameplay of how good this thing can be in no build, because you got to remember, when I made that video, I was only 2, 3, 4 days into playing the season, and that was a time when I wasn't touching no build at all. So I didn't really see the strength of this, but after re-looking through it and playing a lot, obviously, and obviously dabbling in some no build, this is an A tier. This is an A tier weapon. It's really strong. If you have, I think if we're just looking no build, it would be S tier, absolutely. But kind of have to find a compromise of both, so I think A is fair enough. And this is it. This is my final ranking for all the Chapter 5 Season 1 weapons. I hope you kind of enjoyed this style of video, going back and looking at one of my old videos, absolutely roasting my takes back then because they were pretty bad. I can't lie, they were pretty bad. So stay tuned for more content coming soon. Chapter 5 Season 2, of course, drops on the 8th, and I will absolutely be pumping out content all over the weekend for this new season. I'm so excited, and I hope you guys are too, to go kind of on this journey of the new Greek mythology season it looks to be. So with that being said, hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your day, and please like, subscribe, comment, do what you gotta do, and I will catch you guys in the next one.